Okay. Go ahead and give me a clap right in front of the mic. One more. Cool.
Now that was a very powerful clap.
Oh, those are good claps.
It's right. It's like there's like a pocket.
Right in the pocket, yeah.
Like yes, that was it.
You know, like when you high five, when you dap someone up and you get them.
Yeah, when you dap someone. Where did dap come from?
I don't know.
Dap. Does it stand for something?
I don't know.
Dicks and penises.
Yeah.
Because it's only guys who dap each other up.
That's true. Why don't girls dap each other up?
I mean, sometimes I'll like dap girls. Like.
Do you like give them a high five?
And then a forehead kiss.
How do girls greet each other? You guys just hug each other?
Yeah, we hug each other and scream.
Yeah.
And like are just...
Oh my God!
Well, yeah, because I'm fucking enthusiastic about hanging out with my amazing gal pals.
Well, yeah, I guess that's equivalent of me going, yo,
what's up? And I'm just like,
there he is.
You're listening to the Scream of Consciousness podcast. I am your host, Rebs. Each week, I will explore what it means to be a 32-year-old millennial girl and what it means to be human. So we could talk about anything from boys to depression to childhood trauma to what we did last week to getting blackout and twerking to literally everything and everything we'll talk about. And this week, we've got a little bit of a half solo episode, maybe. Anders has been anxiously awaiting his return on the mic. I know he's been asking me every week, hey, so do you think I should set my mic up? And I kind of wanted to do me, but I need someone today on the mic to ask questions, to have an honest reaction, because let me tell you what, do I have a story time? I have not prepped Anders on what we are talking about today. I specifically told him, I need your authentic reaction. I think I may have told him this before, so he is going to be in on this story time just as much as you guys are. So, I will say though, before we get into the story time, for our new listeners here, I just wanted to give a backstory very quickly into how the podcast started. And so back in 2016, I was doing some blogging and did that for about a year and a half with my job that I had. I wasn't making any money with the blogging, but I really, really enjoyed it. And podcasting was kind of new on the scene. And it was something that I knew I always wanted to do. I thought, wow, that's a way for me to share my voice where it doesn't have to be just written word on a blog or a website, you know? So I was really interested in podcasting, but I didn't really know anything about the equipment or just anything, how to do any of that. And sure, I was somebody ambitious enough who would be like, yeah, I will buy the equipment, I will do research and I'll figure it out. But I had to step back because other things were happening with my career that was actually paying me money. So anyways, flash forward, Anders and I meet, and he had a podcast before we started dating, and he has a lot of experience, you know, with his career in editing and directing and producing and all of this. So he has a really unique skill set. And so it was really cool when we met, you know, I think we hit it off, and I had told him early on, hey, I want to do a podcast. And he was really amped about it and said, you know what, we should totally do this and make it happen. And here we are now, 45 episodes later, and it has been so much fun. And I just want to say a big thank you to Anders, because my also fiance, if you don't know, he did good, ladies. But just big thank you to him, because truly, like, everything that you see, you hear, all of it, I could not do without him or his help. So just want to say big thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It's fun for me. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So.
We have a great time.
My pleasure.
Like, this is fun.
Quite literally.
Okay. So for those of you who are not watching on YouTube today and you're listening only, my outfit is fleeky fleek today. Does anyone say fleek anymore? No one says fleek. I'm disgusting and a chuggy millennial. Okay. But I have to share my outfit because it is so, so good. I thrifted this fuzzy leopard hat at Clothing Warehouse. Do you not just die over this hat right now for my folks who can see? It is the new... This is going to be my entire personality moving forward for the rest of perhaps the year. I will wear this tits out, ass out in July if I have to, in a bikini. This hat is who I am at my core, and I can't believe that I finally found her. Okay, so my hat. My glasses, very Y2K. They are from Urban Outfitters, like so long ago. And then this shirt that I thrifted yesterday, oh my God. Is it not just the whole look is great. It's this NYPD thrifted tee, again, from the Clothing Warehouse. It is the like perfect, just loose vintage tee fit. And I simply could not leave the store without it. So the whole fit today is very inspired for the theme Y2K, that era of my life. And so here we are. Whew, here we go. Story time. How did I even decide I wanted to tell this story? I was perusing Netflix recently, and something that Anders always really enjoys watching too, and something that is to an extent interesting to me, is cults. I love studying cults. I think it's studying is actually a far more elevated term than what I do. Yeah. I'm just interested in them. Right. But I don't do like tons of research, but the ones we watched Mother God recently, which was, if you haven't watched that is insane.
Awesome.
Insane. It was great. I was shooketh watching that. But I want to talk about cults today because I was a 9-year-old cult leader. I'm going to just allow you to soak that in.
All right.
I was a 9-year-old cult leader at my elementary school. And here is my fucking story. Have I told you this, Anders?
I think you have, yes.
No, you have to lie and say I've never told you. I'm just kidding.
No, you've never told me this.
Okay. So let's get into it. I was an only child, am an only child growing up, and I got really comfortable playing alone and just having my own imagination. And I think it was really great for my creativity, honestly. I think it helped me become very independent in who I am today. But I think with that too, there's a lot of imagination. I think that naturally young children, especially only children, have quite an imagination. And so I was in 3rd grade. I had some friends who were, I would say, kind of the popular girls. I would not say that I was popular, but I was friends with some of like the popular kids, I guess, in school. And so in 3rd grade, 9 years old, you know, you go outside during 3rd grade, you do recess, you do all these things. And me and a few of my friends had this idea that we wanted to start a club. And so we thought, okay, what did we know about what a club was at 9 years old. What did a club mean? Well, we knew that there had to be some sort of audition almost to be able to join. And to an extent, we thought that that was kind of funny. I think it wasn't a mean thing. It wasn't that we wanted to exclude people, but we wanted it to feel like you had to do some sort of like audition. I hate to say initiation because that is really not what how we were thinking of it, but that's what it was. Huh?
You had to earn it.
You had to earn it.
Yeah.
Just like being in a fraternity or a sorority, which I thought that Rush was a pizza party, so absolutely wild, but
not quite. Yeah.
It's not quite that, but basically, so back to 9-year-old me and my friends, yeah, we wanted to start this club. We wanted people to audition for it, and we wanted it to be very secretive, away from the adults and the teachers, and so. What we would do is we kind of started playing back in the woods on our own. And we had this area that was pretty separate where we were still basically allowed to go back there, but not where everyone else was just playing around in the open space. It was back kind of in the woods. And so we found our spot and we were trying to figure out, okay, what should everyone have to do to get into this club? And there was one girl who I was friends with, and I think at every age, kids recognize sexuality at a very different age. And so the age where you always had the friends who like wanted to show, like the boys and the girls wanted to show the private parts. Okay. You just did. There were always those friends who were more like, I don't want to say, just were more into that. Okay. I wasn't really so much into that, but I was kind of interested in it. I didn't really understand like boobs, what a penis was, because at that age, like, no, I hadn't understood those things yet. And so had a friend who definitely was more advanced at that age. She had an older brother and older sister, and she was, exposed to, PG-13 movies and stuff. And I think her siblings at that point were in middle school, maybe even high school. So she was learning stuff at a very young age that was more mature. So she was like, oh, we should make people have to show their private parts, like flash them really quick. And so we were like, okay, yeah, why not? Like to me, that really, it wasn't a sexual thing, but it was intriguing. And so we decided, okay, maybe this is it. And so we started kind of our class, because you were really at that age friends with your classmates. You didn't see tons of other kids around all the time. Maybe, you didn't have classes together with other kids. You'd maybe play outside at recess together, or be in the lunchroom at the same time. So our classmates started kind of learning about, well, okay, what's the rest of the class like doing back in the woods? So I remember they started to come back, and we were like, okay, this is the time. Everyone wants to be part of this club. Now they have to earn it, So I remember this girl being like, yeah, okay, if anyone wants to join the club, like this is the secret password. Like it was the secret password is what you had to do. And it was either if you were a girl, you had to like show your boobs really quick, like 1 millisecond, like flash really quick. Or if you were a boy, you had to like pull your pants down really quick.
Are you kidding?
I'm not kidding. I'm dead ass.
Jesus Christ.
I'm dead ass. And so, but again, it wasn't a sexual thing, and we weren't bullying anyone into doing it. It was if they wanted to hang out with us.
They knew you were serious.
They knew that this was, it was like,
serious.
Yes.
If they were willing to do that.
Totally.
It wasn't sexual, but you knew it was like private.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I don't even know what we did back in the woods. We didn't even do anything sexual. We just like ran around and played with sticks. I don't know why that was part of it. But, you know, that was the initiation. So absolutely wild. So this starts to happen, and we're starting to hang out back in the woods very often during recess. And so the teachers were starting to notice that more and more kids were like back in the woods away from them and not so much on the monkey bars anymore. And they're kind of like, what's going on? And so I remember being confronted at school. We had a talk with our teachers. It didn't go all the way up to the principal, but I remember my teacher and maybe another teacher or something had a talk with us, and they said, look, you cannot be doing this. You cannot have kids be doing this. This is very serious. And I remember they used the phrase gang-like behavior. I did not know what that meant in third grade. And I actually can't remember if it was a conversation that was had with our parents that they had with us, or if teachers spoke directly with us. But I remember it got shut down very quickly because it was considered a gang and kind of like a cult. And you know what we called it? We had a name. I didn't even mention the name of it. Do you know what we called it? The Wookiee Club.
The Wookiee Club?
Talk about how that has aged, because I then turned into a Wookiee, a fucking Wook in college. But it was called the Wookiee Club. And like you would join in. And again, we didn't do anything other than like run around and play with sticks. And it was like boys and girls, but it was like this secret thing. But I remember it gained a lot of traction and visibility with the teachers, and they shut it down. And I remember them saying and calling it like cult gang-like behavior, and that we had basically started a gang or a cult. And I was a rule follower. I did not like to get in trouble. I had an Asian father and a mom who might as well have, been Asian. And they were pretty tough on me, but I was a very well-behaved kid. And so I do remember being a little bit freaked out by hearing that and thinking, oh my God, I wasn't trying to start a gang. That's not what I was trying to do, or a cult. But somehow I ended up being a cult leader in third grade and starting the Wookiee Club. So all that to say, always be a leader, never a follower. No, I'm just kidding. But it is just crazy how imaginative and interesting and also impressionable kids are at that age, and how exposure to, I can't even imagine like the social media and everything, just how it is going to impact like kids downstream now. But it just is wild. I legitimately got in trouble in third grade for starting a cult. So.
Were you the charismatic leader?
I was not the charismatic leader. I was definitely.
Was it a group of you guys?
It was.
That were like the head
I think
honchos?
it was a group of 3 or 4 of us. And I actually now I'm playing this out in my head. Part of the reason I think we did this was because it was me and 3 other girls, and we loved the movie Bring It On. And there is this sense of, it's a team, it's like cult-like behavior, but it's very cliquey. And so I think we thought that that was so cool, and they were teenagers in high school, and they were, you know, part of the you know, cheerleading team, but it was a very like niche and like private club group, almost tight knit group. And so I feel like in our head, that is actually what we were creating. And also there was definitely like nudity and stuff in those PG-13 movies that we saw that we like weren't allowed to see.
Not in Bring It On.
Yeah.
Nudity?
Probably. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure there were boobs in there. 100% boobs. And then
I'm looking this up.
You should. Okay. Bring It On. Oh yeah, Bring It On was a dirty movie. There were a lot of sex jokes in there. And then also another movie that was very impressionable at that time was Austin Powers. There were a lot of sexuality in there, and that was I remember being a kid. That was like if you were cool, like a bad kid, you like had seen Austin Powers. That was like the litmus test of if you were cool. If you had seen like Bring It On, Austin Powers, like PG-13 movies, you know? Anyways, I was a 3rd grade, 9-year-old cult leader. Wild.
Yeah, Bring It On is PG-13. You know, I'm not going to search. Oh, I'm literally watching the trailer and she goes down like this.
Yes.
And then comes back up and she's topless.
Uh-huh. Yeah. The very first
I don't think you see the titties.
The very first 10 seconds. No, it's implied. It's implied.
And they're doing like sexy car wash. Like, okay, yeah.
Oh, there is
I guess I haven't seen this movie.
You haven't seen Bring It On? Okay, well, Anders and I are watching Bring It On tonight.
Oh, God. All right.
I remember I used to call myself Torrance. The girlies know Kirsten Dunst was Torrance. And we also had names in this cult too. We had secret names. Mine was Torrance.
Nice.
And she was the head cheerleader at a point. So
you're a cult leader.
Maybe I really was. Maybe it really was me. Aw, little Moo is just sitting in this basket over here. He's like, I don't care that Mom's a cult leader. She's my cult leader.
He's our cult leader.
He's our cult leader. Some other funny things that happened around that time in school, to now move on to something a lot more heartwarming and adorable. I used to think that I could plant apple trees and grow apple trees as well. I thought that if I saved my milk carton at lunch, I would save it, rinse it out in the bathroom, fill it up with sink water. Okay. I'd have an apple at lunch too. I would save the seeds from the core of the apple, and I would bring those seeds and the milk carton full of water out to recess, and I would dig and I would plant these seeds. And I thought that I was planting apple trees, and I was sure that they were going to grow. Did you ever do anything like that? Like,
probably. Yeah.
As a kid, did you do anything like silly or anything like during recess, like out, you know?
I'm kind of along the lines of a cult, possibly.
Okay. Well, we have two cult leaders in the house.
It was a club. It was a digging club, and I was a founding member.
I also had a club, and I was a founding member.
Right. Right. Yeah, we would do it at recess, and people try and join, and we'd be like, no, you don't know what you're doing. You're not doing it right. Like, if you're in the digging club, then you know you're right.
Wow.
And yeah, and we would just like go to each other's houses on the weekends and like dig each other's backyards up.
Yeah, okay. Well, this explains a lot of why you're super into crime documentaries now.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the correlation.
I never put that together.
So do I need to be concerned? Maybe so.
No.
It's so funny because just kids like kids not knowing how to dig a hole right or dig correctly, and you're like, you can't dig with us, you don't know how to dig right. What the fuck does that even mean?
No, it's just
you're digging with first of all, sticks. As if you had a shovel.
No,
like at school you had sticks, right? So you guys weren't even shoveling right, digging right.
We're just picking at the ground.
Yeah.
With
picking
sticks.
Picking the Ground Club. Love that. Hot. I'm dating a founding member of the Picking the Ground Club.
Digging Club.
My bad. And God, another thing I got in trouble for was, I think I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I've always, even though I was a rule follower, there were many times as a kid where I definitely went around the rules, or I just didn't know what I didn't know and I wanted to try everything and anything. And so I remember I had this business in like second grade too. Maybe it was second, third grade. And do you remember those plastic pencil boxes that people would have that would sit in their desk? And it had that rounded rectangular like divot in the center of it. And it would say like the brand name of the box, like Scholastic, or I don't know what it was. Anyways. So we learned this trick, and I learned this trick from some kids in my class, that if you colored on the plastic box and then covered it with Elmer's glue from the bottle, it would dry and it would become this like long rectangular bookmark made of glue, but it would pick up the color that you had, the marker was on like the plastic box. So I started making and selling at school bookmarks. But see, to me, in my head, I actually didn't know that was against the rules. I didn't know you could not sell stuff. How would I know that? There's a market that we had every Friday where you could go in early and you could buy pencils and erasers and stuff. And so I thought, I'm going to start my own business. They can do their own. I will start my own and make money. I wasn't making money for anything. I was in elementary school. I wasn't paying for anything. My parents were paying for everything. So I don't know what I was even making money for, but it was just the idea, the leadership, the ability to just do my own thing and make a name for myself.
There's a theme.
There's a theme.
There's a through.
There is definitely a theme. I think we're both, you and I, listening on this, on the other side of this podcast right now. I think there is a theme that I'm psychoanalyzing myself with you right now, and this is wild. This has been quite a journey of understanding, wow, this does really make sense why I have a podcast now.
Yeah.
But
you're ambitious, you're a leader, you're a self-starter.
Well, no. I don't even want to, it's just, I like using my voice. And I like doing things that are different or off the beaten path. And I don't know if you guys can relate to this. I would love nothing more than to hear your crazy elementary school stories or just growing up, being a teenager. There's nothing more I enjoy than just hearing ridiculous stories of people at that age, because there's so much that we go through and things that we do at a young age and don't even realize what we're doing. And as older humans now, I don't know, it's so funny. So was I a cult leader in third grade? Yes. Was it harmless? Yes. And would I do it again? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. I don't know.
Did you have any like hand signs, like gang signs?
No. We didn't do that. I don't really think I understood. I didn't understand anything about gangs either. I didn't know, like the only thing I knew, quote unquote, related with gangs was graffiti at that age. That's all I knew, so, which isn't, I mean, maybe back then it was, but it's so different now, street art and all of that. But anyways, so please, after you have listened to this episode, while you're listening to this episode, DM me, send me your best stories I would love to know if anyone can relate to this. I know that I am not the only one who did some whack ass shit like this growing up. So share your stories. I got to hear them. And maybe I'll share them on the pod as a quick, cute little follow-up on the next episode or something. So please, I would love to hear your thoughts on this episode. If you loved it, hated it. So please subscribe, rate, review. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple if you search Stream of Consciousness podcast Rebs. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next Thursday.